Welcome back, folks. So the CPI inflation report is out a couple of hours ago this morning. So I took some notes. I'll share those with you real quick. So versus January, the February CPI inflation report puts inflation at 2.8%. So that's positive news since January. Month over month, the inflation is up 0.2%. The concerns were that inflation was going to come up a lot higher. So that's another positive news. Some of the breakdowns, food is up 0.2%, positive. Energy is up only 0.2%, that's positive. You've seen the airline fares not being overly excessive. The airlines are not raising their fares as a lot of people feared. Shelter is up 0.3%, which is huge when it comes to rent and places of accommodation for consumers. So 0.3% is again a positive thing. One thing that is being discussed heavily this morning is that tariffs have been activated by Mr. Trump on steel, aluminum, lumber, and other building materials from Canada and China. So what's going to happen is that the builders are not going to absorb the cost. They are going to pass it on to the consumers, which is you, the buyer of new homes and renovated homes. So gear up. The building cost is going up, and the builders are going to pass the tariffs expense on to the U.S. consumers. One interesting thing this morning, really breaking news, is that one company that is popularly joked around as a Chinese company, even though it's a U.S. company. I'm not going to say its name. You all know which one it is that you all run to buy the cheapest goods possible. And it's their biggest supplier is China. So that particular company has asked its Chinese suppliers to absorb the cost of the U.S. tariffs being imposed by Mr. Trump. The Chinese Commerce Ministry had a frantic meeting asking all of those major Chinese suppliers and being directed and instructed them that push back. We don't plan to, the Chinese suppliers are being instructed that you're not expected to absorb the cost. The Chinese suppliers in their private meetings with US retailers are telling them that our margins are so low to begin with because of intense competition between Chinese manufacturers and Chinese suppliers, that there is just no way that they can absorb the cost of that expectation from US suppliers, from the US importers, asking Chinese suppliers to absorb the cost of the tariff. So the situation is developing. So as more stuff becomes available, more news becomes available, we'll share that with you. Thank you so much for that. Bye-bye.